and allow me to start with the mission statement. Go ahead.
Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. However, these Zoom meetings are helpful to parents all around the world, and they are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members who are not able to attend this meeting live can also watch. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, everyone. And I am thrilled that Sue is here with us this evening. She is just amazing, and I feel very fortunate to know her and to have her as a personal friend. And she lives here in the Valley. So even though we're doing this by Zoom, she lives very close by. I just want to read a short bio of Sue so that you know a little bit more about her. Sue Frederick, lifelong intuitive and spiritual coach, is the author of Bridges to Heaven, True Stories of Loved Ones on the Other Side, I See Your Soulmate, I See Your Dream Job, Your Divine Lens, and Water Oak, The Happiness of Longing. As a master numerologist, career and grief intuitive coach, and soon to be ordained Unity minister, she's taught hundreds of workshops for those who seek alignment with their soul's purpose and for those who are grieving. In her workshops and client sessions, she's witnessed the profound healing of slipping into your higher self for guidance and to connect with loved ones on the other side. Sue believes we can all connect to our departed for healing conversations, and that our consciousness is much more expansive if we understand it is in this limited physical world. Her work has been featured in the New York Times, CNN.com, Real Simple, Yoga Journal, Natural Health, and Complete Woman magazines, and her website is www.suefrederick.com. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming beautiful Sue Frederick. Welcome, Sue.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here. I can't tell you, you're all so much in my heart, and I see some of my people here who I've worked with for a while and love so much, and I love Elizabeth so much. So it's just a total all heart experience to be here. And, you know, as some of you know, my work with departed spirits and sacred numerology began around 1980, when my husband died of cancer, and I was 29, and I was really angry at the world because he had suffered so much, and he was such a young, sweet, loving, beautiful soul. So I needed to know, okay, so why do people suffer? Why would anyone have such a hard lifetime that as he did and be so young? And why am I still here? And I know that some of you grievers, that's what you come to, this place of, okay, well, I do know my departed is in the divine realms. I sense them, I feel them, but why am I here? And that's what numerology did for me, really. It really helped me understand that I have a soul plan here, and I have soul agreements. I had a soul agreement with Paul, and there was a really important reason that I was still here. And so I needed to focus on that. But, you know, the first part of it was I was very clear that Paul was in the divine realms. The gift was he made that really clear for me. Like when he died, I was holding him and I saw his beautiful spirit lift out of his body, and it was completely clear. And then that night he was in bed next to me. I felt him 100%. And until a being of white reached over me and tapped him, and he had to move on to the realms, higher realms. And he continued to come and give me those kinds of experiences. So my questions weren't, where is he? I felt like I understood that part. And so for many of you who are maybe trying to get your life together after great loss, I think you can probably understand what I mean when I'm saying the big question that we all then come to is, why did my loved one suffer? Why did they leave early? And why am I still here? So on that note, let me explain about numerology, because this is a tool that we can all use. And in my opinion, it's such a powerful tool. There's astrology and tarot and all these other tools we can use, but numerology, once you really start working with it, the numbers come alive for you. And I've trained literally more than 200 coaches to do work with numerology, including Gail. I just saw Gail over there. So yeah, some of my moms have studied numerology with me. And so what we learn in that is that what I do is I meditate on a person's date of birth and figure out the path they're on. And as I meditate on that, then I get out my huge I have 100 yellow legal pads around my house and office, and I just do some automatic writing that I'm getting from spirit about that person's soul journey. And then I switch over to the back of their folder where I've written their departed's name and their departed's date of birth. And then I meditate on that. And again, I get out my legal pad and do some automatic writing. And that's very powerful, because that's when the children really come through loud and clear. So what happens then is when I start to work with the client, I've already had that time alone in meditation. And that's how I work. I know that's not how most mediums work, but I'm alone in meditation and writing and downloading and connecting. And then when the session starts, I always say it's sort of like I've made a date with them, so that, like with Gail, when I've worked with Gail, like I've meditated on Jake and, called him in, so that it's not like I'm looking for a random spirit to show up. And I really admire the people who can do that. Instead, I'm saying, today I'm working with Gail, and here's her path, and here's Jake's path. And please, Jake, come and help her heal beautiful Gail and help her move forward. I'm just using Gail as an example. And then spirit just pours through. And the reason I think everyone can do this is because when we come at it with a pure heart, and that's simply getting the monkey mind quiet and opening the heart, when we bring our pure heart to that intention, there is no way on earth that spirit isn't going to show up to help you. Because one of their commitments to us is that when they cross over, they're part of our soul posse, our soul agreements. And so they want to help us. And when we make an intention like that, they're going to show up. So Gail, is it okay if I talk about your path a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Gail is just an example, because she and I have worked together a lot and I feel so connected to her. But her path, for example, is the Virgo 11 Master Soul Path. And if you go through that numerology workbook that I gave you guys, you'll see that how to calculate your path. And so as I meditate on her before a session, I feel her challenges in this lifetime. I feel her strengths. I feel her gifts. And then as I turn it over and connect with Jake, and I always smile because Jake, his path is a Leo 5 path, and 5 is all about being open and courageous and adventurous and free. And you just feel that in his path numbers and his energy so much. So, and then that's how we work. And then we talk about their soul agreement, because you can add the numbers together to figure out what their soul agreement. And in Gail's case, it is the number 7, which is pretty profound, because 7 is the number of spiritual growth. So Gail's sole agreement with her departed son was to push her to grow and expand spiritually. And I know that's what everybody's agreement is to some level, but for her, the 7 energy is about in her mind as well, changing some ideas that maybe had held her back from completely believing in things before. And so that's how it works. And then there's a lot more to it, as you can imagine, like, pages of stuff that I would write. And then I look at your 9-year cycles, which I want to explain today too. And I'm just going to really quickly, because of you guys, I want you to learn to do this. If everybody could take your own date of birth right now and just kind of go on this little journey with me, take your own date of birth, and you can write your sun sign. So for example, Elizabeth would be an Aries 5. So you can we'll add your path and then come to your sun sign and make it an Aries 5. And that's your own path we're going to start with. So if you could just do that for a moment and get your own path there and figure it out. Does everybody have an ability to figure out your path from that workbook, or do you need me to help you with that a little more?
I can go ahead and put the link to the workbook just in case people haven't been able to see it. It's right underneath the invitation on the event invitation, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat box. So just 1 second and I'll do that. Let me but go ahead, Sue, I'm sorry.
No. So when you add up all the digits of your date of birth and you come to a single digit, that's your path. There are a few complications to that I explain in the workbook. But when you have that number, just write it and then write your sun sign over that. And then just put your hand on it with me for a moment. And we're just doing you, and then we'll do your departed, because I want you to have this experience too, because you can do it, people. This is easy. This is not something that takes years of training. That's the gift of numerology. The gift of numerology is that the numbers really come alive for people and really help them understand. And by the way, Pythagoras, the guy who created our entire number system that we use every day in interactions with money, we learned about it in math class. He was a spiritual teacher, back in Greece, and he taught a school for enlightenment. And he taught back then that every number has an energy to it, not just a quantity. And I think it's so interesting that little piece of Pythagoras's number system got deleted from our understandings of numbers. Like if anybody had taught me that in math class, I think I would have paid a lot more attention to math. So we are waking up the idea again that numbers are sacred, that they carry a vibration that can help us get information and help us heal. So as you do your own path, I'm hoping that most people have their own path figured out. So somebody just wrote in there Pisces 5, Trish. So I'm speaking to you as the Pisces 5. That is just incredible. Maybe I should write down your sun right now. I'll do that. Let me grab you right there, Trish. Hold on a second. Pisces 5 and your sun is an Aries 11. Pisces 5 and your sun is an Aries 11. Okay, so what you do with that is you take the two of you and first start with you, and now go with me. We're going to put your hand on your date of birth. We're breathing into your path, and we're saying, please, divine guides, give us the words to help understand why we are here and what our life plan is. And then you just sit in that, and you can feel your heart opening. You can put your hand like this in front of your heart chakra to help your heart open. And knowing the energy, for example, of Trisha's path, the Pisces 5, what I would say right away about that is it is such a sensitive, open-hearted path, Trish, that I wonder if when you were younger, you struggled with maybe addiction or things like that, because it's almost like you had no grounding. That path is so extraordinarily sensitive and open and passionate. And I can't read the chat, so I don't know if that resonates with you. But that's how you begin to feel your path. And then your sun, Trish, is in Aries 11, you said. So now I'll put my hand on your son's information, and everyone here, just put your hand on your departed loved one's path and number and just feel into that. And that's when we say, please, departed loved one, and you can name them and call them in. Please give me the words to understand why you left, why I'm here, and what I can do to move forward in a positive way. And then just be with that. And if you feel it, then pick up your pen and your paper and just write what you're getting. And if you trust it, if you use your pure heart, you will start getting ideas and pictures and words, and you can just write it all down. And Aries 11 sun, Trish, I'm still talking to you. You know, it's such a dichotomy. The Aries is this big, strong energy, take up all the space in the room, doesn't come across with any kind of weakness, you know, very leadership oriented. And the 11 is the most sensitive, delicate, intuitive little soul you could ever meet. So it feels like he kind of put on a face of being very powerful and not ever having his feelings hurt. And yet in his soul, he was so sensitive and intuitive, and probably struggled, you know, to feel that he fit in or belonged here, because he was on a master soul path. And the two of you have the soul agreement of the number 7, just like Gail and her son, which is so interesting. So that means that once again, your son was pushing you to learn and change and grow spiritually, and in your ideas, especially about life, and about spirituality. So I can't really tell what's happening there, but did that resonate at all, Trish, with you? The chat is moving too fast for me to be able to figure out if she's writing to me.
Would you like for us to?
Yeah, can we unmute her? Yeah,
That'd be great. Irene, can you help unmute Trish? And that way we can maybe have her tell us if it resonates with her.
Okay, I've asked her to unmute. Trish, can you speak, please?
Yes. Hello. Yes, I would say that the description of my son resonated. Me, I did not struggle with addiction, so that part was not accurate.
Okay, so the 5-path journey in the Pisces, if that's all correct, was there a spiritual path that kind of you believed in growing up? Were you able to put your sensitivity into that, the journey of spirituality? Because that would have saved you from addictions, because that's what happens when people have your sensitivity and they don't have any spiritual grounding. That's how they kind of get lost, fall off the edges. But I'm glad to hear that you did have some form of spirituality to ground you. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So are there any other, I mean, I can help you if you wanted to give me, I can tell you where you are in your 9-year cycles. If you wanted to give me your date of birth, I don't know if you want to announce that on there. It's awkward trying to get people's date of birth and not have them announce it, because that feels like an invasion of privacy, you know. But Trish, what I'll say to you is, if you email me later and send me your date of birth, I can give you much more detail about where you are in your personal year cycles and how it's all unfolding for you. And how long ago did your son cross over?
20 months.
20 months. So, you know, he's definitely a highly evolved soul, and he's definitely coming to me like he cares about you and wraps his arms around you, and he's sorry I think he's just sorry for the pain he's caused you, because he feels responsible. And on that note, I'll just let it go, and you can email me and I'll give you more from those dates of birth if you'd like to
Okay.
have that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sweetheart.
So we have
So
a lot of other people posting their dates of birth in the chat box. If you would like to, Janita is putting her date of birth. We have, let's see, there are other dates of birth. Would you like to use dates of birth to be able to calculate the numerology, or what would you like to do, Sue? Because you did.
So I know it's so complicated about how to do this on Zoom. I'm not sure I know how Spirit wants me to do this on Zoom. So why don't you, Elizabeth, just pick one? I mean, the chat box, I can't keep up with it. So just pick a person, pick a person and give me a name and date of birth, and
Okay, let's go with Daryl Mcdonald, because she has both of them very easily accessible. Her daughter is 12/14/97, and she is 1/10/58. Is that
so Carol is 1/10/58, is that correct?
Cheryl is.
Oh, Cheryl.
This
Okay.
is Daryl Mcdonald, and maybe we could bring her on, Irene, if that's okay, so that she can respond to what you're getting. That would be wonderful.
Okay.
I
So,
asked her
Irene?
to unmute.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hi.
I don't see you, but so you're a Capricorn 7, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And then let me look at something else. You're in a 7 personal year as well. And 2021. 8, 9, 10, 11, 3, 6. Okay. So the Capricorn 7 is such a grounded, strong, practical, analytical path that you chose. And, you know, what I'd say about it is you're very good at whatever you put your mind to do, you know, but your analytical mind sometimes stops you from being able to trust your intuition. But you've grown and evolved, and probably it has to do with your daughter crossing too, that you can trust more. And let me look at her path here. 16. Oh, wow, you guys are on the same 7 path. Is that correct? Is that what you got?
Yeah.
5. Oh, that's a really strong soul agreement. 13, 14, 15. Yeah. So you have a Sag 7 daughter, and you're the Cap 7 mom, and your relationship number is the number 5, and that's a number of passionate connection. I mean, incredibly passionate, no boundaries, sometimes fighting, but always loving, just all in, you know.
All in.
All in. And every word was spoken that needed to be spoken. And, you know, that's really beautifully done, Cheryl. I can just feel that from here even. And how long ago did she cross?
August 15th.
Oh, baby girl. I'm wrapping my heart around you, sweetheart. Let's talk to her for a minute. What's her first name?
Megan.
Say it again.
Megan.
Megan. Okay. All right, Megan, right now we're just talking to you and calling you in to ask you to love on your mom right now, because she really needs to feel your physical presence as well as your spiritual presence. And she's saying, sometimes you doubt me, Mom, when I'm showing up, but you have to trust it. You know? And she says, the same way that I was all in with you on earth is the way I'm all in with you now. And that passionate, she says she shows up physically and touches you in different, like your hair, and hugs you, just that really physical presence. And to believe it, she says it's really important that you believe that it continues, and that sometimes you struggle with your doubt or your cynicism. Is there anything else, baby girl? Just wrapping you in love and just telling you that, you know, you're at the beginning of the journey, but you're going to be writing a book someday about all of this, and it's going to help a lot of people. It's a really important story. And your 7 path, you're definitely a good writer. Have you ever written anything until now?
As in for public, no, but it's kind of interesting that I have a really good friend who is an author, and she, prior to this happening, was encouraging me to write a book, and she's been talking to me a lot lately.
Yeah.
Because I've been kind of telling her about this journey, this journey.
Well, because of your path that you're on, there is writing to be done. And so the more you can meditate to quiet the mind and then sit down and start writing quickly from the heart, the more you'll just feel the words pouring through you. And telling your daughter's story is really important. Because she's on the 7 path as well. And she says, don't worry, Mom, I'm going to write it for you. Just please sit down and to get started and let me pour it through you. So you guys, in another lifetime, I'm feeling here that because your paths are the same, because so much is the same here, that you were twins in another lifetime is just what I'm getting.
She is a twin in this. She was a twin in this life as well.
So you guys have a pattern of twins in your soul posse, it sounds like. Yeah. And what that means is that there's so much love in your soul posse that you keep coming in as twins in different formations in order to learn the things you're trying to learn. And you were a twin with her in a previous lifetime. And then she came in as a twin with, I guess, her sister in this lifetime.
But she wasn't, so they weren't identical and they didn't seem much alike, but she and I were so much alike. I used to say she was my clone. I mean, the way we feel, the way she could call me and just talk about anything, and the things we loved, our struggles, I would say, many of our struggles, although she thought Capricorn. She always said, I feel sorry for you poor little Capricorns just struggling all the time.
Well, I mean, she's right in a way, because the Capricorn struggles to believe in things beyond the physical sometimes, and that's just who they are. And that's okay. That's part of the energy that you came to move through in this lifetime. And she's broken all that open for you, opened your heart completely. And now the good part is that you have so much inner strength, as this Capricorn 7 path is all about, that you will write that book and you will make a difference. You'll help so many people. And she's definitely your twin. I mean, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, all right. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful, Cheryl. And I'm really glad that Sue did that for you. And there are so many people who are writing in the chat box, so it's going to be very difficult. I asked Irene to choose.
I don't know how to do this on Zoom, honestly.
Well, I know,
but
well, let's just go randomly with Amelia. Amelia has her birthday is May 18th, 1994, and her son's is August 21st of 2020. So
wait, I didn't hear. Amelia is May 18th of what year?
1994. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Good. And then her son. Okay. So let me look at this. And Amelia, you want to unmute?
Let me see if Irene can.
I've asked her to unmute.
Okay, thank you. Because Irene said, no, I don't want to choose these. I want everybody to be able to do this, but let's go ahead with Amelia. So Amelia, could you say hi so that we can see you? Let's see, unless we can't.
She is unmuted. Amelia.
Hi. There she is. Okay, we've got her. Wonderful.
So Amelia, I'm not sure I have these dates of birth right. Amelia, tell me your date of birth.
Whoops, we missed that. Is it May 18th of 1994? Is that correct? Yes, it is. You're muted. Oh, there you go.
So
Now
then,
Yes.
so then what about your son? What was his date of birth again?
August 21st of 2020.
Okay. All right. Thank you. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I've got to add this a few different ways because he could be on the 33 master soul path. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. No. Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So August 21st, let me just get all this down. Leo. So we have the Leo 6 there. All heart energy there. 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. And then for you, the Taurus 1, incredible strength, Amelia, came in to learn confidence and leadership. 4 from 11 is 7, 9 from 11. 27. Okay. So first, let me just say, Amelia, my heart goes out to you because this is a boy, the Leo 6 is an all heart path. And I'm really sure that he was the light of the world, that he just sent out so much loving energy to everyone and to you that it's, very devastating to lose him. And so my heart is with you. And yet at the same time, we can still feel him here. I can feel him with just this beautiful heart opening energy. And he's also a healer on the other side. He says he can heal people and that he's healing them from the other side. So I'm wondering if you feel that or you know what that means.
He was an old soul, we said. Definitely brought a lot of love and light, and it's like he could see through us.
Right. And
he had so many stories back there.
Yeah, definitely. And not meant to be of the earth for long. And that's the thing about these pure heart, open souls who come in. They just come in for a brief moment to wake up their soul posse, to help people grow, the people in their loving posse, to help them wake up and grow. And you, Amelia, on the one path, part of what this is about for you is believing in your truth, no matter what anybody thinks about it or tells you you should believe, because the one path journey is about self-doubt, becoming leadership, visionary path. So someday, because right now you're in the first Saturn return and you've just lost this beautiful boy, and that was a 9-year first Saturn return loss. And that's a lot. That all happened just when my husband died, when I was in my 9-year and my first Saturn return in my 20s. So I know that it makes you question everything about your life and who you are and how you want to move forward. But what I'm here to tell you, sweetheart, is someday you're running a nonprofit or something where you're going to be really helping so many people and stepping up to your role as a visionary, and not doubting yourself. And I just want to tell you, every time you hear that part of you that says, oh, maybe I'm crazy to believe this, or, oh, maybe I did something wrong. I just want you to know, no, the lesson of the path for you is believing in yourself, that you are a divine being and everything you have done is exactly on purpose and perfect, and that your son stayed as long as he could, but now he's with you in the divine realms to help you do the rest. Someday you're speaking on a stage and he's going to be there with you. So you have a long and beautiful path ahead of you, a long journey. And I'm just wrapping my heart around you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Does any of that resonate with you?
Oh, yes, ma'am. All of it. Thank you.
Well, I'm holding you in my heart. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you. That was beautiful. So we're going to go to a gentleman now because we have a few in the meeting as well. Let's go to David. His birthday is the 21st of January, 1959. And his daughter's birthday is the 20th of August of 2003. And let me know if you didn't get any of those numbers down. And while I'm telling you, maybe Irene can unmute.
Yes, he is unmuted already. So David, do you want to speak, please?
So
Yeah,
David, let me just confirm, because I just don't want to get it wrong here. January 21st, 1959 is yours. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. See, normally if we have a session, I have a little prep time to do your chart beforehand. So I'm adding as fast as I can and trying to get it right. So just give me a minute. Okay, got it now. So Aquarius 9 path, is that right? 91 is 10. Did you do your path numbers? Just trying to make sure I've done this right. 6,
1,
9. Oh, it's the 1 path. So it's the Aquarius 1. So that's interesting because we've got another 1 path here, but it's a totally different energy. It's the energy of a teacher. I'm talking about you, with incredible ideas to share with the world. And let me see where you are in your journey. 2, 6. And you're in a 9 personal year. Did your daughter cross recently because you're in that 9 year? Was it this year or last year? I'm sorry, David.
It was recently. It was 3.5 months ago.
Because, and many people can relate to this who know about numerology, when a 9 year hits us, it's a year of surrender. It's a year of reinvention. And we have several 9 years in our lifetime. And it's interesting because my husband died when I was in a 9 year, and the woman we were just talking to, her husband died, her child died in a 9 year. And it's not that we always lose people in a 9 year, but our soul creates a plan where you are called to shed the old parts of yourself right now that don't serve you. And if we were doing more work together, we would talk about what that is. But I'll just tell you part of it. As the Aquarius 1, you came in to be a teacher. You can think of Martin Luther King, the way he gave a vision to the world. And any of you 1 paths who are listening, the 1 path is the visionary who has something to say to the world that the world is never ready to hear. But if they keep writing and teaching and speaking what they believe, the world will eventually catch up. And yet the trajectory of that learning, David, is based on self-doubt. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, but even Martin Luther King, he doubted that he was doing anything, that anybody was listening to him while he was alive. And yet here we are still trying to absorb his message and live up to his words. This is your path. I hope you are doing something as a visionary. I hope that you are sharing your ideas and thoughts. And your daughter now, tell me what her year of birth is.
2003.
2003, okay. 10, 15. 6 path.
Yeah.
And did we add it where it's not a 33, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's a 6 path. And Leo. Wow, that's so bizarre. It's so funny the way when I start doing this with groups, the same paths keep showing up, because our last person, this is so amazing. Amelia is on the 1 path and her son was a Leo 6. You are the Aquarius 1 and your daughter is the Leo 6. All right, thank you, Spirit. We're getting the joke here. So they're having fun with this right now. So your daughter, the Leo 6, so beauty, I'm seeing this great beauty. This was or is a soul that carries extraordinary beauty inside and out, but I'm just keep being seen physical beauty. Does that make sense to you? Was she extraordinarily beautiful physically?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she's showing me that was, okay. Are you an artist?
Audrey was an artist. I'm a bit of an artist, but she was a very accomplished artist. That's the painting behind me.
So, yeah. So she's saying that beauty was everything for her in that lifetime, and that she learned and did exactly what she needed to do. Nothing was left unfulfilled. And even though it seems like an early exit to the world, her journey was meant to be immersed in beauty. And that's what she came to do and be. And as we know, this physical world doesn't keep beautiful, sensitive, artistic souls safe for long. So she really wasn't able to stay long, but know that she's wrapping you in so much love, and the beauty that she loved when she was down here and the beauty that she expressed when she was down here. She's definitely trying to show you that that's what the divine realms are, that she lives in a world of extraordinary beauty now. And she even says that she tries to show you that in your dreams. Do you ever feel that she takes you on a journey at night and shows you the divine realms or travels with you?
No, but I tell you, when I did the exercise earlier, the words I got was for me to stay. She said she had to go, but she said,
it's okay.
Now be with me.
So in other words, she wants you to paint with her. So do you ever do your own painting, your own artwork?
I went to an art therapy class earlier in this week, funnily enough, and I found a painting of hers in a box that I'd taken out to get a light globe in, and I didn't know why I stopped at that box, but I found a bit of paper in it that Audrey had made a painting or a drawing on, and she'd crumpled it up and put it in the box. And I saw it and pulled it out. And then went to the art class with that in my hand.
Yeah, she wants you to, she says that the time you would spend now doing painting and art, she will be able to be right at your side doing it with you. It's like your meeting place. So I really want you to do that, because I feel like you'll feel her. You'll really feel her presence, and in the art that comes through you, it'll be her art really coming through you. So you'll really feel her presence. So, and also I just want to say to you, you know, you're your own visionary. So I don't know what you do for a living. Do you teach by any chance?
I was involved in teaching, yes. And I was at a university, and I did start an organization to teach people how to do chemical-free weeding and things like that. And yeah, Audrey was with me when we did that, and she gave talks too.
Well, this is why she says, don't give up your path. In other words, you should still be out there teaching, because the things you just described, they are visionary things that you were teaching. And that's so completely what you came here to do. That's totally in alignment with your path. So you have these two messages. One is paint, and she'll be with you, and you'll feel her presence and that beauty. Know that the beauty, she's basking in the beauty of the divine realms and wants to show it to you through the painting. And then the other message is, you are a teacher. It's what you came to do. Don't stop now. Go out and teach what you know and bring your vision to the world stronger than ever. So, and let me see, you're in a 6th personal year, right? Yeah. So, no, you're in a 9 personal year. She was in a 6th personal year. Well, that's interesting too. Just know that I'm just feeling so much love and beauty and creativity and artistic gifts, and you are a visionary teacher, and she doesn't want that to stop, because that's why you're still here. Is there anything else, baby?
I do, when I close my eyes and meditate and try and contact her, I get a lot of color and shapes, and it's very vibrant. And I also sometimes, in a different method, we were told that she was a diva, and I see that also when I meditate on that. But yeah, there's a lot of color and shapes and things, and it's very dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that came to me was a beautiful physical presence. And that whole idea that beauty is an expression of the highest divine realms, and to bring that in, even in your physical body, to come in a physical beauty state, I always believe that that's because you brought it in with you from the highest realms. And that was her journey. So
that's amazing that you say that, because Audrey had amazingly neat handwriting. And then when she did numbers and equations and graphs, they were just incredible. I mean, at a celebration, we put them out because they were just so amazing. She's so precise,
yes,
so accomplished.
So you're going to carry that with you, sweetheart. The reason you're here is you're going to keep sharing your vision, your ideas, your teaching, and the beauty that she's going to be creating with you and through you. The world needs to see that. So that's your journey. All right, sweetie. Thank you.
Do you want to see Audrey? There she is.
Oh my God, she is so beautiful. Oh, my heart is with you, baby. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh, this is hard on Zoom. My goodness.
Oh my goodness. Well, I just want to tell you, we have so many people.
Let me say to David, though, I don't want to leave him like that. David, if you want to do a session with me, I'll offer you one for free. If you can just email me. It just hurts my heart to see you so sad. So if you want to work with me, go to my website and remind me that you're the one I did a reading for, and I'll do a free session with you. I want to help you a little bit. So my heart is feeling his pain.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. And I just want to say, first of all, that we have a few questions that maybe you could answer. Leanne is asking about master numbers, and she's asking about the 33. She found out that she's a 33. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the master numbers so that people know a little more about those.
Thank you so much. I will. So is this the Leanne that I met here in Scottsdale?
No, it's a different Leanne.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it's not the same one, but I wouldn't know because there's so many people on.
Okay. Well, Leanne, let me just tell you, if you're a 33 master soul, and this goes for any of you who are on the 33 master soul path, it is and by the way, I'm going to share that your son Morgan was on the 33. Elizabeth, I hope that's okay with you. He was on a 33 path soul. That is the highest frequency that a soul can come in on. And it means that they're highly evolved, the most. In fact, it's believed that Jesus Christ was on the 33 path of the compassionate heart. And that's what the 33 is all about. And I even get tears in my eyes when I connect to 33 souls, because there's so much goodness in them. And they've come to do something healing for the world. And that can be as a minister, as a doctor, as a humanitarian, but they're really here. And also they channel in artistic gifts. So many of the great musicians are on the 33 path. And but the challenge of the 33, Leanne, is that your sensitivity, if you don't ground it in meditation and spiritual practice, it can pull you off the edges. I've often said that the upside of the 33 path is you have the heart of Jesus Christ, compassionate healer. And the challenge is that the world hurts you and disappoints you, because we're not all evolved down here. So you see a lot of things that hurt your heart. And if you don't have spiritual practice to comfort you, that you can, people get involved with addictions or whatever it is that comforts them. So my guidance to you, Leanne, is just keep doing what you're doing in the spiritual realm and connecting to your child that way through meditation and focusing completely on the divine realms as your comfort. And then you're going to do amazing stuff with a beautiful 33 path.
So let me just specify. I guess that let's see, Leanne is saying that she feels this. And then I also have, I'm confused because Lisa is also saying, I am a 33 and her sister Leanne, spelled exactly the same way, passed away. Thank you for asking the question, Leanne Frank. So this is a different Lisa who's saying that this resonates with her as well. And that's pretty amazing. I also wanted to ask another question that Mitzi is asking, and it's about if you could explain about cosmic vibration. Is that something that you could maybe say a little bit about?
Yeah. And I'm going to apply that to the path we choose as well, because the way I look at numerology is that our soul, when our soul is planning our life plan, that will say, you know, I really need to learn this, or I really need to stop repeating this certain pattern. And so with the help of our guides and the Council of Elders, we create a soul plan for the lifetime. But if you choose to come in on the 11 or the 22 or the 33 master soul, and for example, Gail, my beautiful Gail, who's here, came in on the 11. I came in on the 22. Roseanne came in. Roseanne Chi came in on the 22. And then there's the 33 with Elizabeth and Leanne, obviously. What we agreed to, the people who chose these paths, is accelerated learning. I'm not saying that we're more evolved than everybody else, but that with the agreement of our posse and our council, they allowed us to come in on a path of accelerated learning. And it's a little different for each of the master soul journeys. So I've just described the 33, and now I'll describe the 22, because that's the one I'm on. And that's also Roseanne Chi, who I've become very close to. She's a 22. And what that means is we agreed to come in, this will sound so funny, but we agreed to work really hard to bring new ideas to the world. So think of Oprah, for example. Oprah is the hardest working person in the world. She runs so many different organizations. She works so hard, and that she's a great example of a 22 because she brings new ideas to the world. She never stops trying to make it better, to do it better. That's the perfect understanding of a 22 soul. In fact, we were in a class last night. I think Roseanne was with us and Gail, and I said, I feel compelled to keep writing books, to keep teaching classes, and I'm about to become a unity minister. I mean, it sounds crazy from the outside. I already turned 70 in last month. So you would think I would want to relax, but I am completely driven to bring ideas to the world, to uplift consciousness. That is the 22 energy. So if your son or daughter was a 22, they were definitely driven to try to do something meaningful. And yet at the core, they have the number 4, which is all about hard work. So it ends up being write 7 books or get a PhD, or, I mean, it's that kind of hard work that a 22 does to express those ideas. And then if we go to the 11 Master Soul Path, that is the path of just, oh gosh, pure intuition, pure sensitivity. I mean, I surround myself with 11 path souls because if you want a best friend who's just going to merge with you and talk to you from the heart and always make you feel so loved, they're natural born counselors and therapists, and that those are the 11 path souls. And the hard part for them is they can merge so much with other people. You know, they can kind of lose their own path or their own sense of self. And this is so interesting, and I hope this is okay to share, Gail, but Gail's on the 11 path, and when we did a certain kind of soul regression session, she and her son Jake had been so in love in a previous lifetime. They had really kind of lost themselves in each other, and she had died early in that lifetime. And so he was devastated without her, and he'd had to learn how to be on his own in that lifetime. And then in this lifetime, he left early, and she's trying to learn to be on her own and okay without him in the physical. And as an 11 path soul like she is, you know, that's the biggest challenge of her lifetime. And that's because an 11 loves you full on, all open heart, merges with your soul to her soul. And that's also the relationship Gail has with beautiful Jake. So does that answer your questions about the master soul numbers?
That's perfect. I think that was a beautiful explanation. And we have so many people just writing about how amazing this is. I just want to go back to what you were saying about Leanne and Lisa writing about her own sister Leanne, who was a 33 master path as well, which is just kind of amazing. But of course, there's no coincidences, obviously. And I also just wanted you to maybe tell a little bit about numerology. And I was fortunate to get a reading from you. It was one of the most amazing things that's ever happened to me. And everything that you've told me has come true. And it's been not an easy path. A lot of the things that you said were really wonderful. Some of them were difficult, but they all came true. So I want to stress to everyone that this really does work, and that it is something that is accessible to all of us. But maybe you can tell just a little bit more about numerology. We only have a few minutes left.
I want to address what you just said, that because here's what Elizabeth is talking about. I don't want to scare people about this. She's in what's called the second Saturn return. Some of you are in the first Saturn return in our late 20s, and some of you are in the second Saturn return in our late 50s. That's a time of accelerated growth. And when I say that, you know in your heart, that's not going to be a 24/7 party. And so whether you're in the first Saturn return in your late 20s, and that's a very tough time for our kids in their 20s. And often, sometimes a child chooses to leave in their first Saturn return because it's just so tough for them to figure out how to be in this world. And then sometimes we get to our second Saturn return in our late 50s, and a lot of hard lessons come our way. But I just want to say that you've got it. You set up a soul plan that you would get the lesson of those transitional times, and you would be able to step up and make the changes you needed to make and let go of the old limiting ideas you had. And so they're not times that are going to destroy you. They're times that are going to really push you to stand up and be who you came here to be. And sometimes we have to go through loss in those Saturn returns. I lost my husband in my first Saturn return, and I actually lost another loved one in my second Saturn return. But loss, as we all know here in this group, is our greatest spiritual teacher. And if we open to it, if we open our heart, if we stay pure of heart the best we can, then we will get the lesson. We will emerge from it more evolved and enlightened than ever. And that's the purpose of our lifetimes. There's no other purpose. We don't come here to struggle needlessly. We come to learn and evolve and help each other evolve. And the Saturn returns will really push you to do that.
That's beautifully said, and I appreciate it. And I'm not complaining at all, because this has been a period of enormous spiritual growth for me. But it is amazing how there have been things that have happened to me in this time period that have never happened in the past, and I would never have imagined. And I'm grateful for everything that has happened. But I wanted to just ask you one question. Sabina has been asking twice now. November 5th, 2002 is an 11 and not a 2. So would an 11 never be added together to become a 2? Just so that people understand, and then a 33 would not become a 6, I guess.
So here's the explanation, and it's in the workbook. So please do use that workbook to help you sort it out. But if you come down to the final single digit and it's a 2, you have to check and see if there was an 11 before that too, because that means your path is the 11. And if you come down to the final digit and the number is 4, you have to check and see if it was 22-4. And there's 3 ways to add your birthday to figure that out. And that's all in the workbook. And that's where it gets a little bit confusing for people. But, we don't really have time to explain all that. But I'm going to teach a numerology class soon on Zoom. And maybe you guys can join me and I'll go into more of the detail of it. And the 6, if your single digit comes to the number 6, you have to really add it very carefully to make sure it's to see if that was a 33-6, because there's a big difference between choosing a regular 2 path or an 11 path, or a regular 4 path or a 22-4, or a regular 6 or a 33. And I'll just tell you, before I jumped into this lifetime, and I know this to be true from my own inner work and soul regressions, I felt I had fallen behind in my spiritual growth in other lifetimes, and that I was actually lagging behind my soul posse because I wasn't growing as much. And so I remember going to my guides and going, I'm ready and willing to do the work I have to do. I don't want to be left behind. I want to catch up. And I remember my guide going, all right, but please remember, always have a courageous heart. And so that's what I say to all of you. If you've had grief and loss, which you have, or you wouldn't be here, your courageous heart is what will get you through it. No matter what path you're on, no matter what path they're on, you got this. And this is your greatest moment of spiritual awakening. And so it is. Thank you.
Beautiful. I just want to quickly say, this is so beautiful. We have another Leanne on here, and this is Anna's daughter. And she said that her wish today was that she wanted to hear her daughter's name, Leanne, spelled exactly the same way, Leeann. So she's heard it many times, and I'm so happy for her. Galen is asking how long she can have access to the document with the workbook. So is that
forever? Yeah, okay. I mean, that's for you guys. And if you somehow can't access it, then email me and I'll email it to you as an attachment. Numerology is in all my books too, like all the books that are for sale on my website or Amazon, numerology is in them. But I just want you all to know my heart is with you so much. And I know I'm not very good at doing these kinds of readings on Zoom like this, but thank you so much for your patience. And it's been an absolute honor to know you and work with you. And my heart is with you.
You did a beautiful job. And Anna is saying, when is your next class? So maybe you can tell us about your next class for numerology so that people might be able to sign up for it.
If you go to my website, I'm always trying to update it. In fact, tomorrow I got to add some classes onto my website. But I'll tell you, I've got a class starting next week. It's on Zoom, and it's called, can't think of the name, but what we're going to be doing is doing these soul regression meditations where you will get to go and talk to your counsel and your spirit guides and find out, about your path and connect to your departed. And so that's the next class I'm teaching, but then I'll be posting some other classes as well.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much. And this has been a wonderful evening. I think that everybody loved hearing from you. And in spite of the fact that it is right on the spot, you did a fabulous job with the readings. And I'm just so glad that the people who were here were able to not only hear the ones that did get readings, but being able to get a reading for one person is always a reading for all of us. So we are really, really grateful. Thank you. And Irene always asks everyone to unmute so that
please do. Thank you, Sue.
So if everyone would like to go ahead and unmute, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful
So